Mums with Hustle podcast, episode 535.
Welcome to the Mums with Hustle podcast, where you'll discover everyday mum entrepreneurs killing it in their industry. Learn the secrets you can replicate to create your own success with your host, Tracy Harris.
I've just come upstairs at our home and the boys are downstairs. The youngest is working at the dining table. The eldest is working at a desk in his room, which we bought him. And they're working on a wellbeing task. So if you're new to this podcast, hello, my name is Tracy Harris. I am a digital entrepreneur and have been for over 10 years. I'm a mum of two. My boys are 12 and 9 at the time of this recording. And for the past 2 years, we have been homeschooling because we've been very open to traveling and living around the world. However, we just can't seem to leave Bali. So this is where we are at the moment. And anyway, never in my wildest dreams did I think that we would be homeschooling. But prior to being a digital entrepreneur for 10 years, I was a teacher, a primary teacher. And for 6 years, I also studied teaching and education. And anyway, when I became an entrepreneur, I was just like, no, I'm not going to be doing homeschooling. That is not for me. And during lockdown times also, that was reinforced. I was just like, yeah, no, this is not for us. But anyway, God has a way of changing our hearts and our desires without any real effort from us. That's all I can put it down to. So anyway, we have been homeschooling for the past 2 years. And just now, I've come upstairs and the boys are doing their wellbeing work. By the way, I'm not using any type of homeschooling program. We don't have to. For us, we are Australian. So if you are out of the country, the government doesn't actually care how you educate your kids and you don't need to have any particular program that you follow. So I have been creating their curriculum. It's a very Tracy Harris inspired curriculum. I might have to do another episode on that. There are other homeschool episodes that I have done, so maybe I can link to those and you can go and listen to that. But today's lesson was well-being, and as part of that, it was all about gratitude. So the boys have this workbook with different worksheets. And today's one is titled Gratitude. And I never just let them go and just, complete the next page of your wellbeing book. No. I use this as a beautiful opportunity to teach and to guide and to mentor and to share. So I was setting them up and they started out together and I was there and I was doing some explicit teaching of what gratitude is, and asking them lots of questions, what do they think it is? Can they think of a time when they felt truly grateful? And then we looked at the worksheet and it actually had 4 spaces on it. And they had to complete those 4 spaces. And I wanted to share them with you now because a gratitude practice daily is one that will change your life. It will absolutely change your life. And if you want to change your life or change what you're experiencing in your business or in your family life or in your physical body or in your relationships, I actually had someone send me a DM reply to an Instagram story just this past week, really saying, I wish I had more female friendships like the ones that you have, Tracy. And so when I say that having gratitude is the secret for changing your life, and then I gave the example of relationships, this even extends beyond intimate relationships and even into the friendships and the people that we have in our lives. Gratitude is a key for cultivating what is good in abundance in your life. And so I wanted to share with you today the gratitude lesson that I led the boys through. And it's something that I really enjoyed doing with them as well, because I selfishly got to go through my daily gratitude practice, but with them, because sometimes I don't do it. Sometimes I forget. I think I am thinking so many gratitude thoughts throughout the day, but that's one thing. That's like one way to express gratitude, is to bring like mindfulness to something when you're in it and just, think, gosh, this is awesome. I'm so grateful for this, or how blessed are we for this? But today's exercise was really about going deeper. And I don't always take that opportunity. So I really enjoyed it. And I hope that you enjoy doing this with me here now in this episode. But their little worksheet had these 4 spaces. The first one was, I am grateful for these people who love me. And then inside of that love heart, they were supposed to list the people who love them. And then in the next space, it is things I enjoy doing. Can you list those items, those activities, actions? And then the next one was my talents. And the final space is, I'm grateful for these people who help me. Now, I said to the boys, this worksheet looks really simple, right? Even a little bit babyish. I bet you could just whiz through this, but I don't want you to do that today. I want you to try to do this slowly and with presence, because a gratitude practice is not about pace. It's actually about slowing down, being still, being comfortable to pause and feel your feelings and just enjoy and bask in the practice of gratitude, rather than filling these things out, going through the motions and ticking it off as another homeschool task that is done. Like you and I have our to-do lists. Well, their learning is essentially that for them as well. And so it's not just about, did I do it? It's about, how well did I do it? How present was I when I did it? How was I able to bring emotion to the activity? How do I feel at the end of doing it? So anyway, I gave them that invitation to really slow down and do this mindfully. And I gave them examples of how to actually do that. So when we are looking at the space of, I am grateful for these people who love me, and you now go and you write down in that space all the people that love you, right? Can you slow down and think about the way that these people love you? And can you pay attention to the emotions in your body as you think about that? Like if you're going to write someone's name down in that space as being grateful for that person who loves you, can you think about the way that they show you love? Can you think about the way that you feel because they love you? Can you think about the way that they express their love? The way that they love you just right? Can you sit and think about that? Can you bring an image to your mind when you think about that? Bringing an image and bringing emotion. And can you send a grateful thought to that person? Because now all of a sudden, we're not just listing names in that space and rushing through to the next part. And when I was explicitly teaching the next part to them, which is, I'm grateful for things I enjoy doing, and then you're supposed to list those things in that space, I said to them, I'm so grateful that this morning we got to go for a family walk, the 4 of us with the dog, at 8:30 in the morning. We got to take a casual walk to the beach. How amazing is that? And they just looked up at me with their little faces, and they were thinking, yeah, Mum, it was nice. But they're looking at me like, why am I just making something so ordinary and basic be so profound? But again, I got to teach them that, well, that's what a gratitude practice is all about. It's about taking the ordinary and the mundane and being able to realize it's actually quite extraordinary, or it's actually full of things that we used to pray for once upon a time. It's actually moments that other people don't get to experience either again or ever or in this moment on this day. And I'm so grateful for it. And I said to them, I am so grateful for my legs that are strong and healthy and able to move. They're able to take me on this walk. And as I think about that now, it brings up another thought of something else that I'm grateful for. I'm so grateful for all of your legs, because every single one of us in this family is able-bodied and strong and healthy right now. And that's something we should never take for granted. I'm so grateful for the sun and the weather that we are having on this day and the feeling of the sun on my skin. I don't like winter. I really love this weather and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for the slow morning, for the fact that we get to go for this walk together. We're not waking up with the pressure of an alarm. There's no chaos in our household. We're getting ready slowly and we're able to talk to each other. Us as parents, like, we're not getting up in the dark and doing some commute that we hate, that we definitely had to do once upon a time, or at least we thought we did. And, you know, we're living this life. They're not rushing off to school. They're with us. I'm so grateful for that. And so these things that when you live them day in, day out, they become so basic, so ordinary, yet it's far from that. It is extraordinary. These are daily blessings, and we get to express gratitude for that. And so when you hear me speaking, if it sounds emotional, it's because it is emotional. I choose, well, I don't even think I choose. I just feel like I just am this way, but like I have the ability, and even for that, I'm really grateful. Thank you, God. I have the ability to bring emotion easily when I am doing my gratitude practice. And I'm really grateful for that, because that is something that is also a blessing or a gift, a virtue, a talent, call it what you want. And I have that, and I'm grateful. Can you see how when you think one thought that you are grateful for, when you have one gratitude thought, it often brings along with it 10 more? And so whenever I am in a moment of frustration, sadness, disappointment, challenge, anger, and those are very low frequency emotions. When I'm feeling that, often I just need to come back to gratitude, because even, well, I don't think that there are bad days. There are bad moments. There are moments that are less fun than others. But when we are able to tap into gratitude, it alters our frequency, which is our energy. And the majority of what makes us us is actually energy. We are more energy than we are matter. And that is science. That is not woo-woo or an opinion. We are quite literally more energy than we are matter. And so all energy carries a frequency. It's either a really high frequency, like love and gratitude. That's the highest frequency that you can feel and experience. Or it carries a lower vibration. It has a lower frequency. And so if you want to create positive change in any area of your life or business or relationships or health or where you live, you need to be able to have a dominant frequency that is high. And you get to cultivate that. Not only that, but it alters the lens in which you view the world and other people and yourself. And that goes on to inspire whether or not you see opportunities where you once would have viewed challenge. It just goes on to completely change your brain and your entire personality, and therefore the life that you live. And that all comes from developing the skill to show gratitude. So inside of my Freedom Filled Business mentorship, which is a year-long program for female founders and leaders who want to create massive impact in the world without it costing them their soul and without it taking away from their lifestyle, because actually they all desire more life, not less. One of the things that we work on is gratitude, a daily gratitude practice, and we do that through my Fresh framework. My Fresh framework is the part that develops you as the founder. And then there's also my business framework, which is the Freedom Filled Business Pathway. So we are working at all times on ourselves, but also on our businesses. But the gratitude piece is part of Fresh. And it is something that you can turn to at any time when you want to improve your mood or your energetic state from being stuck in victim mentality or scarcity, lack, fear, I'm not enough, why am I not further ahead? All of those thoughts, why does this keep happening to me? If you can recognize when you're in those moments, and then if you can apply a gratitude practice at that time, which you may not really feel like, and you may even struggle to think of things that you are grateful for. But if you can do that, if you can just reach for one thing to be grateful for, I promise you, just like wildflowers, more things to be grateful for are going to come to mind. And you're going to be able to reach for more and more gratitude, which is what I was sharing with the boys this morning. So anyway, they're down there, they're doing their gratitude worksheet, and I look so forward to them coming up later in the day to tell me all about what they wrote, but more so the reasons behind it, and to have those conversations with my kids that I otherwise likely would not have had if they were still at mainstream school. They'd come home exhausted. And even though, like, prior to homeschool, like, we are a Catholic Christian household. So we do pray, we do talk about gratitude and other Christian virtues and gospel values in our home. But this is different. Doing a lesson like this with them is different. And the conversation that follows is something that I cherish so much. And instead of bringing feelings of overwhelm to homeschooling and doing this activity, I actually feel so privileged and blessed to be able to do it. And it's hard, don't get me wrong. And every day is not roses. But what a wonderful thing. I'm grateful for that. So anyway, this is me signing off full of gratitude for every single one of you in this community that is here, that is listening. And I invite you, because this is the Mums with Hustle podcast and I love to give practical takeaways, but I invite you to just pause and take a moment and think about what you're grateful for. And why not take inspiration from the boys' homeschool today? These are the 4 things that you could think about. You can do all 4, you can just do one. You know, I am grateful for these people who love me. Can you list that out? And can you think about the ways in which they love you that you are particularly grateful for? The next one is the things that I enjoy doing. The next one is my talents. And the next one is these people who help me. Can you do that? Can you bring an image to mind as you think about whatever it is that you're writing down? Can you visualize it? Can you see it? Can you bring your senses to it? Other senses as well, like maybe even sound or touch or taste. And can you bring emotion to it? Can you get emotional about it? And maybe you can, and maybe it comes easily. Or maybe you can, but it takes a little bit of, getting going. Or maybe you're finding it really difficult. But that's all information and it's feedback. And it's an opportunity to practice real gratitude on a daily basis and to get fresh with all of us in this community. If you want to know more about Freedom Filled Business at any time, you can go to, you can email us, hello@mumswithhustle.com, or you can go to freedomfilledbusiness.com/apply and we can start creating your life by design with more intention, working on you and working on a business that is freedom filled. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, my friends. I can't wait to connect with you again on next week's podcast. Bye for now.